Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. So there is this sister of ours. She sent us a message. Then she said that she was quite in a hurry, so she just wrote a story. Then she came back and she told me the rest of the story. These are the conversations that I had with our dear sister. The message reads like this. Hello, my brother. I have a short story that I want to share with you. I will try as much as I can to remove a lot of details from my story so that people who know me will not be able to recognize me. But I will try as much as I can to make my story understandable. So it happened that when I got married into a family that was full of graduates, and I was the odd one at family gatherings. I would always be the odd one out, but my husband loved me even though he was much more educated than I was. When I got married to my husband, what I discovered was that it seemed as if my mother-in-law, she had this other particular girl that she wanted my husband to get married to because she was an educated woman. At that time, she was still going through varsity. I think she wanted to become a medical doctor or something like that. When my mother-in-law found out that I was now dating her son after she had asked about my credentials, and when she saw that I was not that much educated, I only went to school until high school. Then I dropped out because of several reasons, not because my parents could not afford to take me to school, but I just didn't feel like going to school anymore. All that I wanted to do was to hustle or maybe start up my own little business. So they didn't understand this concept of someone dropping out of school so that they can start up a business. So my husband's family didn't want my husband to get married to me, but my husband was quite a stubborn man and he loved me so much. In my first message, I just rushed through the story, but I left out how I got into a relationship with my husband. So what happened when we got involved in this relationship, me and my husband? One day, I just came across him in town and he asked me if I was willing to take a minute to go out with him. So I agreed. We went at this particular restaurant and we sat down. As we sat down whilst we were eating, that was when he started speaking with me. And as he was speaking with me, I really felt embarrassed. I then thought of lying to him because I never thought that the date will end up in us getting married. I just thought it was just one of those dates. So I just lied to him that I was a university student. I lied because he seemed to be a fine, sophisticated gentleman. As he spoke with me, I didn't want to look that simple to him, so I chose to lie to him. It was just a simple, innocent lie, but he believed me anyway. So I then played along because at that time, as I was playing him, I never thought that I would love him. But the more that we got close to each other, the more that I fell in love with him, and the more that I realized that I really had made a terrible mistake. Sometimes he would think that I am staying late at campus, yet I'll be with my girlfriend who was attending at that university, the same university that I was lying to him that I was attending. Finally, I got the nerves to tell him the truth. When I told him that I was not a university student, I was just lying to him. He forgave me and we then got married to each other. When we got married to each other, I saw that his family members struggled to accept me, mostly at their family gatherings, because they used to invite that same girl that I told you that my mother-in-law, it seemed as if she wanted her to get married to her son. So whenever they would invite her at important family gatherings, they will keep on talking, and whenever they will be talking, I was always the odd one out, always looking like a fool. there are certain conversations that they would have with that girl that would make me feel out of place. So at that time, me and my husband, we had to change cities because there was a project that he was leading. So when we went there relocating, the company then took a very long time for us to find accommodation, and we were just desperate to get any accommodation, such that we started staying in a very high density area. We had tried going around looking for accommodation in the low density areas, but we could not get accommodation in time. As for me, I am someone who came from the suburbs. I struggled a lot to get used to the life in the ghetto. At the place where we were staying, I was like the youngest woman, and there were a lot of women. Some of them, they were married women. Some of them were not. They used to bring a lot of their boyfriends. The whole place, my brother, it was more like a farm life. You know, when you are staying in the farm compounds, everything is just haphazard. So what we'll do is that whenever our husbands will be at work, we used to sit down debating about our marriages with my elderly neighbors since I was the youngest. But as for my marriage was perfect. Apart from me not being a graduate, my husband had loved me, and my husband's family had no choice but to accept me because they saw that my husband loved me so much. But those ladies then encouraged me to give my husband some love potions so that he cannot be stolen from me by other educated women. Mind you, that girl who I had been introduced to by my husband's family, and she really seemed as if she was someone who looked like their potential daughter-in-law. That thing, it never left my mind. So when those women kept on telling me that I should make sure that my husband will never be stolen from me, that thing kept on coming back. But I thought that this was just foolishness. But I got a wake-up call one day when I went to my husband's office and I saw his workmates for the first time. And I saw his workmates the first time. The receptionist was too beautiful, so I then agreed to perform that ritual. And when that woman took me to her long distance relative, I was then given some meat. I was supposed to prepare this meat and cook it for my husband, and there were some charms, but this meat was fresh meat, not dried meat. I thought maybe it was just beef, and I didn't believe in magic. So I just prepared that meat that I thought was beef, and I prepared it for my husband so that he can eat. But oh my God, Brother Nashi, the meat that I prepared for my husband so that he can eat was taken from a puppy that had been slaughtered. Whenever I think about this story, I just feel like vomiting. Just the thought of thinking that I fed my husband with dog meat, it makes me want to vomit. If I look at my husband when we are eating, there are days when I feel like vomiting when I think that, so I fed my husband dog meat so that he won't dump me. This thing, my brother, when I think about it, it just makes me want to vomit non-stop. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a WhatsApp conversation that I had with our dear sister. Yo, strange things do happen in this world.